Well, my panel joins me now to help break it all down. Fox News political contributor Tammy Bruce, Independent Women's Voice Board of Directors and Washington Times columnist. Ron Christie, former special assistant to President George W. Bush, and Adriana Cohen, Boston Herald columnist and radio host. Adriana, let me start with you. We've gone from the old death panels to the Death Star. I mean, this thing is the end of humanity as we know it.
I know. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is just embarrassing herself with these extremist scare tactics. The tax reform bill is going to be fantastic for the economy, Charles. I mean, it's going to just, it's going to be a huge catalyst to economic boom. It's going to be a tax break for millions and millions of working families. And so she's just trying to scare people away. It's all political.
Well, I know it's all political, but and I guess it never gets old, except for, at least the Nancy Pelosi it doesn't. But you wonder this sort of hyperbolic, reactions to all of these things and why people outside of Washington, D.C. just sort of ignore career politicians.
Well, I think in this case they shouldn't ignore it, of course, because Adriana's correct. They're wrong. And the benefits of this are going to be felt immediately. And I can just see the commercials now with her hysteria. The only thing she didn't claim was going to happen was cats were going to start sleeping with dogs. I mean, that already happens in my house. So look, I mean, this is great. I love it when they do this. I love that they're just unhinged, because it reminds the American people about why we're doing what we're doing right now.
I do think the irony, Ron, is maybe Nancy Pelosi read it. I mean, I bet she didn't even read it, right? Why shouldn't we just wait for it to be a bag of goodies like the last, like Obamacare?
Exactly. I mean, this coming from the woman who said you need to pass the bill in order to see what's in it. This is what I look at this and say, Charles. The Democrats had Barack Obama in power for 8 years. They had no tax plan. They had no real idea how to grow the economy. Now with President Trump, what have we seen? We've seen 3% GDP almost every darn quarter. Why?
Well, we've had 2 in a row, and we're sitting on top of a 3% GDP right now. Yep. We'll have 3 quarters in a row of GDP
And that's
growth.
after the hurricanes.
Right.
That's after the hurricanes.
Yeah.
Why? Because the president has done what he said he was going to do. He's trying to roll back regulation. He's trying to allow small businesses to create jobs. Republicans understand how to stimulate the economy. Democrats know how to stimulate the government.
Well, here's the thing, though, Adriana. You do have some old-school Republicans like John McCain who would like the Democrats to be part of it. He wants regular order and things like that. But when their whole platform is obstructionism out the gate, it's hard to even say why waste our time anymore with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And since when are Democrats concerned with adding to the debt? Right now they're trying to scare. Under Obama, he added $9 trillion to the debt approximately, and nobody cried anybody a river. Democrats look the other way. But now they're trying to scare us, saying that the tax reform bill is going to add $1.4 trillion to the debt. But they also don't want to talk about the fact that we're going to be growing the economy at least by $1 trillion, and it's going to be a big economic catalyst to growth and hiring. It's interesting how when their party adds to the debt, they have no problem with that. But when the tax bill is temporarily going to add to the debt, which will be offset, of course, they have a problem with it.
All right. So we're on the cusp of the first major legislative win from President Trump. He's done an amazing job with respect to getting rid of regulations that have greased the wheels of economic commerce in this country. Those wheels are moving. This probably speeds that up. How critical is it, though, that this momentum is maintained all the way through 2018 to those elections? Because, again, the Democrats have already staked their claim that something is going to go wrong. There will be a hiccup, and they'll blame it on this tax bill.
Yeah, look, this is going to be very successful already just by President Trump existing. We've had, a 30% increase in the market? It's been extraordinary. But the president has also learned this year what to expect. This has been a learning curve for him. As every day goes by, he gets better. As those efforts that have failed to stop him, like the legal efforts on virtually everything from the travel order on up, we're going to see more success in how he's been right and how he's assessed his job. So I think he's only going to get better. He's already being able to assess who around him has been the better helper, who we can rely on. And, of course, then we've got our job in the midterms to make sure he has more support.
Ron, the bill isn't done yet, though, and there are still some major sticking points between the House and Senate version. And even amongst Republicans, there's this sort of tug of war over who's really going to bat for the middle class, who's really going to bat for small businesses. And while no one believes it will derail this, it's going to get pretty heated.
This is my big fear for working on Capitol Hill for 9 years. It's not over until it's actually signed by the president in the Oval Office. And Republicans have a remarkable ability to really blow it. And we're talking about tax rates here. Why do we have 7 brackets in the Senate bill? The House bill is a lot simpler. It's a lot easier. I hope when they go to conference, they recognize that American people, if they understand very clearly what's at stake and they understand very deliberately why Republicans have delivered, they'll say, we want these folks back in 2018. But if they don't, and if we get caught up, we're in trouble.
Adriana, a lot of concessions have already been made. You would suspect maybe more in the final moments of this. And that has a lot of people guessing that the corporate tax rate goes to 22%, not 20%. Let's not forget, President Trump started at 15%. It's 22%. Should that still be considered a win for the White House and the American economy if that's what it comes to?
Oh, definitely, because look how much improved it is to where we are now. I mean, we're it's teetering at 39%. So just bring it down to 22 would be fantastic. I think President Trump is willing to negotiate on that point, but Mitch McConnell has said he's not. He wants a firm 20%. But there's other members of Congress who are willing to push it off, putting it off till 2019. Others say, no, we need to lower the corporate tax rate immediately. And so that's definitely going to be a negotiating area of negotiation that needs to take place.
If I could just say quickly for everyone who's worried about things that are in this bill, this is one bite at the apple. We've got 7 years. Don't forget, the work has only begun. We can do this piecemeal in a way. This next bill will be imperfect, but it'll be a good start.
It's a little presumptuous, huh? 7?
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, 7 years, one bite at the apple. We can have 7 bites at the apple if we want.
Well, I tell you what, if the economy and the market keeps going this way, you may have more than 7. All right, guys, thank you all very much.